In this episode, I'm going to be taking up the hobby of yo-yoing. Yo-yos? I'm not sure what to actually call this hobby besides predicting it's going to be a disaster. If it's your first time watching this series, each episode we take up a new hobby, we learn it, we study it, and we fail at it. I'm a realist, people. We discuss points from our other series so that we can show that information can be transferred to any hobby, and we set ourselves challenges to see if we can get hang of it without humiliating ourselves, and then we simply embrace the experience as a community. So let's get yoing. No, somebody help me in the comments with this phrasing, but for now, let's go take a look at this hobby, because the challenge has been accepted. No, it's never going to be a catchphrase, come on. A yo-yo is a toy consisting of an axle connected to two discs and a string looped around the axle, similar to a spool. It is an ancient toy with proof of existence since 500 BC, going through many designs and incarnations throughout history. I was going to show the basic yo-yo motion, but because I haven't, used a yo-yo in about 2 decades, I didn't even know how to string the thing up. A yo-yo is used by holding the yo-yo and the end of the string, then spinning the yo-yo, allowing gravity to spin the yo-yo and unwind the string simultaneously, creating a yo-yo-like motion. I'm saying yo-yo way too much, in which it goes in one motion and then returns to the holder, sometimes requiring a little effort to do so. The yo-yo has evolved over time, allowing the user to customize their own yo-yo by gaining access to the axle and separating the components. You can adjust them and then combine them back up to meet your preferences. Yo-yos have also become a sport in which people compete in being scored on their complexity and technique of their yo-yo tricks. We won't be going down to, that level anytime soon. I'll be lucky if it doesn't hit me in the face. So we've got this yo-yo here, and then we got this one. This one's a little bit smaller. This comes in a little case. That's quite weighty. Did not expect that. Is it like that? I will note I've been using this book to slowly learn the basics. As such, I forgot to shoot some exciting footage of me unwrapping it. Please note, affiliate links to these products used in this video are in the description if you wish to try out this hobby for yourself. But this isn't sponsored by anybody, and the products are simply purchased by myself. But thank you for supporting this channel and the community. Yo-yoing is a world-participated sport. The competitors are placed into categories based on their style, then they're judged on technique, diversity, and difficulty of their tricks. The peak of the sport is the World Yo-Yo Contest, in which people from all over the world compete for the title of World Yo-Yo Champion in their own category. Now, I won't be attempting anything too advanced, but while taking up this hobby, I did do some research, of course, and studying for inspiration. The skill and talent of people who take part in this hobby and at a professional level is inspiring. It's good to see that sports like these are getting their own stage and recognition, because every sport has technique, physical and mental needs, not to mention training, and competitors give their life to the sport. On the other hand, I will just, be trying not to hit myself in the face. I'll call this episode a complete success if I just don't end up with an injury. I should have previously noted how a yo-yo works, but once you've got the basics of the release, the spin, and the recoil, then most people start looking at tricks, ranging from walk the dog to all feats of defying physics and mind-blowing tricks. In this episode, we're going to put this hobby and my sanity to the test. Like always, we've got trick or treat or dire straits challenges that will take me to my breaking point for your amusement. I mean, for science. I do sometimes wonder where my mind goes when writing these ideas. I think when I was coming up with the challenge names, I was going through a bit of a classics phase. The Stones, Zeppelin, and Dire Straits, which combine with the concept of trick or treat. There's some logic here, I think. Let's give it a try. In this challenge, I'll be set the task of performing a specific trick. If successful in completing said trick in a given time, I get a treat. But if I'm unsuccessful, let's just say the situation gets a little bit more dire and strained. As we go on, as well, I can't clean or recover before the next trick, making it even more difficult. Does my brain even realise it's me going through these challenges when I'm coming up with the ideas? Damn you, past Ryan. Oh, that's such a good idea. Rapid firing tricks with punishments you can't undo if you fail. This will make the next trick even harder. Wait, I'm the one performing these challenges. Oh well. Now, I built my training around this challenge. No, it's not cheating. It's allowing me to develop my skills in the best possible way. I did manage to find a really nice informative video around new beginner tricks. Link in the description if you want to follow along in, my failure. This really set me on the path of learning the basics and not focusing on tricks out of my skill set. But let's face it, every trick's out of my skill set. Quick disclaimer, due to the positioning of the sun, we couldn't use the timer. As such, we relied on our phones to keep track of time. As such, we were unable to film the timers. I will add some timer shots in post-production so it helps things move along, but you might be able to tell how it went without the timer even. The 10 tricks are the sleeper, walk the dog, the breakaway, over the falls, around the world, around the corner, rock the baby, loop the loop, flying saucer or UFO, and the finale, the beginner's DNA. The punishments, I'm going to drench myself in water, no shoes, stand on one leg, and a cake to the face. It may start easy, but when you hit those tricks and punishments, the difficulty spins out of control. Wonky as hell. Sleeper. Yay. Then, well, walking the dog I'm going to kind of have to cheat on. Because, oh no. Because you can't walk the dog on grass, ironically. That'll do. Right. Yes, first time. Hey. Oh. Throat. Oh no. Nope, it's not. No. Hey. Right, going in. Hey. Bugger. Alright, editor Ryan here. During the heat of the moment, what I thought was a loop-to-loop success was actually an around the world when reviewed in post. Sorry about that. No. So if I was doing it that way, I need to... Oh. Now I can't even wind it up. Oh, that's the timer. Right, okay. I'm giving myself a little leniency because I have to undo my mind. I still can't believe I'm pouring water over myself. Really? So stupid. Right. No, my cake! Oh god, I'm soaked. Alright, get a bit of extra time to work on the flying saucer. Oh, come on. Alright, so if I have to redo it that way. I gotta get... I did not think this through. You're just taking footage of my miserable face. As fun as this is, I'm gonna go back to doing this now. Oh god, it's so cold and slimy. Can you still see green bars on the camera? Cool. Alright, flying saucer, wet ass feet. It's supposed to kind of come back. Alright, I'll start doing it on one foot. Because this is going to be so much easier because I have no balance at all. Yeah, it's not angled enough. It appears my cameraman has abandoned me. I don't think I'm any better. Ow. No. The string got knotted to hell, I think. I have failed. I suppose I'm gonna have to hold the microphone like this, great. I really want to eat it now. Guess I failed. Okay, I did it a lot harder than... Here are 3 discussion points from our Hobbyist series that were chosen at random so we can discuss with regards to this specific hobby. Showing information from that series can be applied to any hobby, providing this series a proof of concept. What do you get out of a hobby? It feels like such a loaded question in which I imagine a monk or a Zen master telling us deep words of wisdom. I don't think that's me, but I'll give it a try. For me, what you get out of a hobby depends on yourself and the reasons for taking up the hobby. This can be as simple as, I took up this hobby because it looked good. Well, when you took part in the hobby, did it still look good, yes, then mission achieved. On the other hand, you could be looking for a hobby to help with your social skills. You could take up various sports and other activities that get you engaged in various social groups based around these hobbies. Then you're getting what you needed from that hobby. Or it could be that the hobby is fun and you just wanted to try it. That's what I got from this hobby. It wasn't something I was always wanting to do, as I knew with my coordination skills, I'm not going to accomplish much. But as with most things, it made me curious on what I could accomplish. I had a lot of fun with this hobby, and having the courage to try new things leads to new experiences and understandings. Not to mention, I can feedback to others and they can laugh in my failure for entertainment purposes. This was a great hobby to pick up. I'm glad this series pushes me to pick up things I never imagined doing. If you are, as a viewer, are into yo-yoing as a hobby, let me know in the comments what you feel you get out of it, and you can inspire the rest of us to enjoy yo-yoing as a hobby as well. Early days of creating ideas for this series, this was one of my highest picks because I felt that it would be a rather cheap and easy to fund hobby for the series. With like most hobbies, you have a baseline cost for entry and it just goes up from there. You can get a yo-yo for very cheap and then progress to something more customizable for your needs. When it comes to funding this hobby, I feel this is a great opportunity for those who like to pick up hobbies that are active and moving, not to mention easily accessible due to their pricing. As with most things, this cost changes based on what you want to get out of the hobby. Do you want to go to, tournaments? Then you've got travel costs. Are you a person who likes to customize their hobbies, personalize them? Then in getting a custom yo-yo or outfit, that's going to add to the cost. Every time we discuss the subject matter of funding our hobbies, I end up with the same thing. Make sure you're aware of your finances, how much funds you've got to put into your hobbies without going into debt or financial problems. Then enjoy funding your hobby and enjoying yourself. I'm so glad this discussion point was generated for this hobby because it was exactly how I learned and engaged in the hobby. As with a lot of hobbies and interests these days, there are those friendly experts willing to teach us mortals their ways. Yo-yo tutorials and guides are out there, allowing you to learn the basics, improve technique, and get to the point where you can perfect that trick. Like with most things, do your research, reflect upon what struggles you're having so you can narrow down your focus and improve accordingly without taking too much on and putting your expectations too high. I learned so much from those that do this professionally or just like ourselves as a hobby. It put my, preconceptions of the hobby to the test and allowed me to engage it on a level I never thought possible. As with most things, do thy research, set expectations, and use social media and other platforms to engage with the community. You gain insights and material to engage more with your hobby so you can get whatever you want out of that hobby. Well, that is another hobby explored. This was rather an uphill battle, but I think I will remember it and learn from it greatly just by how much it defeated me and made me keep getting back up, building upon my determination to explore this hobby till the bitter end. I'll try to be as positive as possible, although this hobby drove me insane and my lack of progress had me on the precipice of defeat so many times. We do learn from the things that knocks us down, the most. I think what I enjoyed the most, although it appears to be a simple, but it's actually a tricky hobby to learn and master. But once you get started, you really want to keep going till that trick has been completed perfectly, or at least well. It kept me motivated and determined, but also made me mindful of my own well-being, when to take breaks, when to focus on, my time elsewhere, and to conduct the hobby in small doses, as it was one of those that could have had quite a negative impact on your body and soul if you kept at it for a prolonged time. I'm going just to say I spent 80% of my time winding up, deknotting, and redoing the initial attachments. As such, I feel this is why my progress was so slow. I had to even tackle additional time to work on this hobby, just to get to the point where I found I could attempt the challenges. It was frustrating having to do maintenance more so than learning and improving on the hobby, which made me feel a bit deflated. But I'm not so easily defeated. I took regular breaks and ensured what practice I did was beneficial to the best of my capacity. This might have been one of the cheapest hobbies I've planned to undertake so far. The level to enter this hobby, both in cost and skill, well, it's likely it's marketed as a child's toy. Yet social media displays the masters and artists showing the physics bending tricks to great effect. The longevity of this hobby is more about the person's determination and dexterity than anything else. If you're like me and really not able, I will admit I'm physically useless and not to mention no coordination skills at all, then this hobby will have you defeated often and quickly. But for those who are suited to it, they can be tested and have fun with the hobby for years. And there's always room for improvement and growth within the hobby without breaking the bank. From my experience with this hobby, I was able to see many factors we've discussed on this channel come into effect, or something that you can benefit from. As usual, it's just a matter of reflecting on this hobby and seeing where the adjustments are needed to benefit you. Now, I'm glad we're able to apply our knowledge and experience to help manage and improve this hobby just like others. I don't think extra weeks or even months I spent on this hobby compared to others made much of a difference. My coordination and dexterity made tricks very difficult, and most of the time was spent on maintenance of the string rather than the tricks themselves due to my failures. As such, the clock ate me alive on the challenge, but I had fun, taking part in it. But it also gave me something to work towards. I could have simply learned one trick, mastered it, and moved on. But knowing if there's a specific quantity of tricks I had to learn gave me diversity and purpose and a direction to go to. I enjoyed the hobby, be it defeated or not, I still enjoyed the experience. I think this is the biggest limitation of this hobby, being myself. This hobby was not in my skill set, but I was determined to give it a go. And furthermore, it helps me prove that what we discuss on this channel can be applied to all hobbies. And it helps people no matter what, how many times I fail or how often they have to readjust the string or how many cakes you take to the face. It's all a journey and, to the most part, an enjoyment. This was an interesting experience, but thankfully, next month's hobby will allow me to recover from my wounds, my defeat, and my ego as we take up the hobby of Sudoku, trading in that physical dexterity for that of the mind. I hope you were entertained by this experience, a lot more so than educated, I bet. And I enjoyed the experience so much. As always, let me know your favourite bits, what we could improve upon, and what we'd like to see in the future as we journey through all these hobbies and challenges together. By all means, feel free to link videos and clips of you doing these tricks with absolute ease to show how useless I am and try and set yourself a challenge in your own hobby to enjoy and push yourself even further. And let me know how it goes. And I'll see you in the next video. I can't believe how many times I had to wind up that yo-yo, but it drove me insane. You fail a trick, and instead of practicing, you have to wind the string up again. I'll keep these yo-yos as a reminder of how defeat can spur us on. Or I'll melt them into oblivion and I'm not decided yet. Bye, everyone.